Your tone, didn't it?
When you run out of musicians, you can interview a photographer.
Yeah, we got the, yeah. I gotta have a whole array.
Oh, I'm good.
We need.
This is why I stay behind the camera, because I'm not pretty. So.
Oh, here we go.
There we
Pretty
go.
boys go.
Every woman's. Yeah.
I am not
She's from behind here. This is all printed right now. She's interviewing us now.
She's interviewing us. Yeah.
All right.
No, you keep talking.
I threw away the key.
That was recorded too. Salute.
Cheers.
This is really good whiskey you brought.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
That peanut butter, man.
that is good stuff.
It's like, I remember when Randy first opened it, or like sat a shot glass in front of me, I was like, it smells like a jar of Jif just opened up in front of my face.
It did.
So good.
With good Tennessee whiskey behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Except Ohio.
Yeah. A few hours, 4 hours north.
Close enough, yeah.
Give or take 4 or 6 hours. Somewhere.
Close enough.
So what do you got going? The RetroSetJoe.
Yes. Yes, aside from music stuff, I've been streaming on Twitch, which is a platform mostly for gaming stuff, which I do some of that, and I also do music stuff on there.
Mm-hmm.
So I get up and I'll do an acoustic set, or I've done shows where I've played drums with people's song requests in the queue. They can pick a song and I'll sit there and try and play drums with it. Or there's the game Rocksmith, which is the one you actually play with the guitar. Mm-hmm. I've done that, you know, just kind of entertain people.
Yeah.
You know, especially in today's age, for right now, where we're all kind of stuck at home.
Yeah.
It's.
We need all the entertainment we can get.
Right. As a former, you know, person who played out in bands a lot, I like entertaining people and doing it from the comfort of my own home. You know, don't have to drive home drunk afterwards.
Yeah. Just sit at the couch and play.
I mean, not drive home drunk. I've never done that.
No, never. Me either.
Not once.
We plead the fifth.
Yeah.
You say, how does it work? Well, like I said, I'm not knowledgeable in that area. Mm-hmm. You're going from at the old school Ataris and everything else.
Yeah, Nintendo, Super Nintendo stuff. I do a lot of that. I have a special converter that you plug the old cables into, and it upscales it to HDMI. Wow. And puts it into a capture card, which pulls it on my computer, and then OBS, which we were talking about, the program there. I can broadcast it to Twitch. Yeah. And yeah, there's a lot of things you can do. You can do interactive games where people can actually mess with the game while you're playing it.
Really?
Like switch your controls around and do shit like that while you're playing. It's really cool. It's a lot of fun. It's you know, I like old games. I mean, I have a literal like wall next to my desk of all these old systems and stuff like that. Wow. I used to have a Tetris machine I sold recently. Actually, I used to have I like a lot of old video games.
Nothing wrong with that, man.
No. But it's a neat platform to do that type of stuff, and again, do music. And there's a lot of that on there. There's a lot of music on there. A lot of really talented musicians. They set up and do like loop stuff and everything like that. You know, it's really cool. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and your car too. That was the coolest thing.
Yes, I have it set up in my car. I can actually I do from my every Friday during my lunch break. I go out and do an hour long from my car. It's got a little camera in there and the microphone and the laptop holder. Yeah.
That was definitely cool.
Mm-hmm. It was a feat of engineering to get that to work and power it and everything. I don't
doubt, and you're probably not running off a cigarette lighter.
No. I have a 1,000 watt power converter in the glove box that's hooked directly to the battery, so I can keep it all powered and not.
And imagine the engine has to be running to keep the.
Yeah, you could do it without, but there's a good chance you'll run your battery dead.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, because they're relatively small batteries.
But again, you do it. Battery's running, you got the air conditioning on, it's comfortable.
Yeah. And you have to worry about background noise coming in, or is it pretty
I have it set up with noise gates and stuff, so you can't even hear. Like, I can have the air conditioner blowing right behind it, you can't even hear it.
Wow.
I have it, yeah.
Look,
use my studio knowledge to,
to get rid of yes, you have plenty of.
A little bit.
How many albums you recorded so far? 2, at least?
2. And I've been doing my own. You heard the one I did earlier, the cover song of that stupid pop song from 2004.
It sounded good though.
I like taking pop songs and making them metal.
There's nothing wrong with that, man. Sounds good.
Yeah. Oh, making them better, not even metal, just better.
Yeah. It's definitely good.
So what have you been doing lately? other than this?
This?
Yeah.
This, music and work, that's all I do.
You been playing out at all?
No.
No, me either. No. Can't.
We can't. No. At the very least, we can sit here and have a drink and have a good time.
Fair. Say, I played up at the Forest Inn the other week. That's the first time I've played in front of people in 6 months, I think. Like, it was kind of weird.
Yeah. And it is weird to be around, like, if you go to a crowd of people, it is weird. It's like you feel very uncomfortable, which we shouldn't, but we still do.
Yeah, anyone who's gone to Walmart lately knows that.
Yeah. Make sure you have your mask on before you walk in. By the time I get here, I'm turning it off. Sorry, it ain't happening. Screw you. It's 90 degrees outside. I'm not wearing no damn mask.
Yeah. It's funny, I go to Kohl's over here in Muncie a lot, because we just bought a house and been doing a lot of work on it and stuff. I need to pick up little stuff. The one girl was helping me out with something. She's like, I'm going to get you on parking spot here as often as you've been here. I was like, how'd you recognize me? She's like, I recognized your mask you were wearing.
A reserved spot.
Yeah, she's like, I'm just going to give you your own parking spot because you're here like every day.
I hope they put in the handicap spot just to make everybody else
you
really
piss everybody
mad.
off. That's the point, yeah. If you're not pissing somebody off, you're doing it wrong.
We did too much talking outside. I can't remember. We had some good things.
Talking about bugs.
Yeah.
Dogs.
Yeah, she's over there. No.
Bugs and dogs and farming.
Yeah.
You know, all that redneck Pennsylvania bullshit.
Hey,
Nothing wrong with that.
amen. Farmers are the reason we eat, man.
Absolutely. I'll drink to that. Of course, I'll drink to anything.
We have to.
There's very few things I won't drink to.
This is true. I'm the same way. We drink to good health at all times. But your bass playing skills, do you have any, I forgot to ask you, do you have any videos up of you doing, like, all your tapping skills?
Oh my gosh.
You do?
I have an old YouTube.
You only got one?
Of that stuff. Like, there's a few videos on it of me playing. I was doing some chord stuff and playing over a loop, and I need to do more of that. It's funny because, like, I always try to do guitar or do drumming. It's like, those aren't the instrument I'm really good at. I'm good at bass. And I never try to do anything with that. And it's like, you know, I should lean into that more somewhere.
Because there's very few bass players I see that actually, you know, post videos that, like, the guy from Mudvayne helped me out. Joe,
I know he's yeah.
Phenomenal.
He's incredible. Yeah.
And, well, obviously, Les Claypool.
Les Claypool, yeah.
But there's not a lot of them out there that really shows the technical stuff.
There's only, like, especially when you get into, like, YouTube and stuff, there's only one bass player that I know is, like, a YouTuber, like, that's his name's Davey504, and he's an amazing bass player. Like, I watch him and get like, oh my gosh, I wish I could play like that.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it's one of those things. But it's not an instrument that's really. I think it's because bass players get made fun of so much, and there's not a lot of really good bass players. It's usually the guy that's like, I want to be in the band. It's like, well, here, play this guitar that has less strings.
I've always said this, like, Teddy Bear, I know he's going to hate me for
Chris.
saying that.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I've always said he's groove and you're technical. That's how I've always described it. Like, Rex from Pantera.
Yeah.
Rex is very much groove. He will follow Dime through whatever. It's just, he follows his progression no matter what. It is locked. It is
It's
tight.
solid, yeah. There's nothing wrong with that.
And then I believe it's Martini from Mudvayne. He's very much his own style, like you. He's just tapping,
slapping. I do a lot of the slap. I learned how to do that before I could actually pluck the normal way.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a big fan of Victor Wooten. That's another huge monster bass player.
Yeah, you did. So you showed me some of his stuff. He is phenomenal. And obviously, you got to throw in Fieldy from Korn and Flea from Chili Peppers.
Oh, I'm a huge Flea fan. And then you get oh my gosh. I was just about to say not a brain fart. Billy Sheehan.
Yes.
From the old Steve Vai and Mr. Big, I think, and stuff like that. That. I'd have to say, I've had more of the older guys in the local bars come up and be like, oh man, you're doing that Billy Sheehan, that tapping and playing crazy shit. I was like, yeah, I wish. I'm good, but I'm not that good, you know.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Everybody bug him to. We need to see these videos because I've seen him do some crazy stuff. Because when you came to the studio with me, I'm like, "Where's all your crazy tap stuff?" Like, you don't need that for this song. I'm like, oh.
You gave me like pretty
pretty straightforward.
Straightforward metal song. You're like, do some tapping shit. And I was like, all right, I'll do the end. Just blah, 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 blah.
Like, no, okay, you're right. It didn't work. I'll write something else for you later on down the road.
That song turned out good though. I thought I liked how it sounded.
Yeah, Jason Hagen. Yeah, Jason's a phenomenal guitar player.
Yeah, yeah. 'Cause when I came up to record, he hadn't come in and done the solo bit yet.
Oh, you remember?
It was like the pre-solo. Like there was someone else had played something.
Oh,
and you weren't as happy with it. Yes.
Yeah. I was happy with this. Alan Batts.
Alan Batts. Yeah, he's
Alan. You need to get off your ass and start making some more stuff, buddy. You listen to me right now.
He's a killer drummer.
He is, and you haven't done anything. At least that I've heard. Prove me wrong and send it to me. But that cat hasn't done anything in a while.
Mm-hmm.
But kid's got a phenomenal amount of talent.
He's a wicked drummer. Yeah, it was before you put that other guitar solo in, the one that is in the final cut, and I finally heard it, and I was like, oh, damn, that's good.
He did that in one take. I'm like...
Of course he did.
I set my guitar down, I'm like, I'm never doing lead. I give up. I'm just going to stick to rhythm.
Don't you hate that? It's like, man, I've got this instrument, I've been playing it for 20 years. It's like, I'm so caught, and I hand it to someone else, and they're just like, amazing.
Yeah.
And
or you look at the YouTube, and there's the 5-year-old that's like doing crazy scales. I'm like, hey.
That's not cool.
You haven't earned that.
You're still shitting green. Why are you playing like that?
You got a natural gift. This is bullshit.
I'm afraid to teach any of my kids music because they might end up being better than me. You
know? So then you got to sit back. It's like, okay, all right.
That's funny. I remember when I first started playing bass. It's funny because my dad's a musician as well. He played bass and guitar, and then he played bass with the band Night Flight for a long time. And him and Mom were going out to the Senate there in Williamsport. They'd go out there a couple times a week, have a few beers, and come back home or whatever. I remember sitting there, and I wanted to learn I was learning guitar in like 7th grade. You know, in music class, they give you those shitty little student acoustic guitars and expect you to play Smoke on the Water or whatever. And he left, and I grabbed his bass and was just like, I want to learn how to play this. Because he was showing me videos of Bela Fleck and the Flecktones with Victor Wooten playing bass. And I was like, that's cool. Like, I want to do that. Mm-hmm. And so I'd wait till they'd leave, and I'd sneak in and play his bass for a bit, and then put it away when I heard him pulling in the driveway. And one night, I come home, and I was there playing. They left. I didn't hear him pull back in. He forgot his wallet. And he comes in, and there I am with his Fender Jazz bass, just wailing on it. And he's like, "Huh? How long you been doing that?" I was like, "A few weeks." He's like, "Okay, we'll talk when I get home." So they go to the bar, and they come back. And it was always like when I was a little kid, it's like, don't touch my guitars, you know. And I mean, you don't want to break them. He had beautiful Martin and Sigmas and stuff like that.
I've been a little protective too.
Yeah, absolutely. And so he come home that night. He's like, "Why don't you grab that bass here and show me what you can do there?" It was like I think this was the start in my early teens of us butting heads a little bit.
Right.
We're both very competitive people. Mm-hmm. So I sat there and I plunked around a little bit. He's like, "All right." He's like, "Let me show you what we can learn." And he took the bass and just did his thing. I mean, my dad was a phenomenal bassist. And I was like, all right, like, challenge accepted.
Yeah.
And there was, it was every night. Once he knew I was playing, it's like, okay, I can practice now. Yeah. In the house, when they're here and know about it, that awkwardness was gone. And I'd sit there for 6 hours a night. Like, from when I got home, do my homework, till the minute I went to bed, I'd just sit there and figure out how the instrument worked. And eventually, we were sitting at when they bought the bar, we were sitting up there. I was probably 20-something at that point. And he had a few beers and he looked, he was like, you can play circles around me on the bass. Mm-hmm. I looked at you, I said, how much did that hurt?
Now, let me ask you this. Did you have a natural ear for music at that point, but you just developed the technique? I
had a very musical upbringing, very artistic upbringing too. My mom's a fine artist. She paints and does all kinds of crazy matters of art, pencil, pen. She used to take gourds and dry them out and burn them with a wood burner and get these really cool, intricate designs in them. Like, she did all kinds of different art mediums. And then my dad, musician, so it's like I grew up listening to music. Where everybody else when I was growing up was stuck listening to country and whatever, I was listening to Black Sabbath and Overkill and Metallica. And it's like Nirvana and else. It's like my parents just fed me the good music that I still love today. And it was so weird, I guess, for me, because I had so many friends like, my parents won't let me listen to that. Why? It's music. Like, what's the thing? So Always listen to music. Always loved singing and learning how to harmonize and stuff like that with my voice. And then once I picked up bass, I'd already played tuba and baritone at that point.
Yeah.
So I played horns and I played guitar and bass, and I still play guitar and bass. I quit playing the horns after I graduated. But
And you learned how to read music at that point?
Oh yeah, I can read music. Yep. It's been a minute. I don't think I've read music really much since like the year after high school, but
Right.
I think I could do it if I sat down and refamiliarized myself with it. But yeah.
I mean, like I said, that's not something I can read it to a point. I'm not efficient at it, but it's just something that if you learn it at a young, maybe
It's such a weird thing on guitar to like, and I've always you get these guys that are diehards like, oh, you got to read music, blah blah blah. You know, they're jazz players and stuff. Usually, it's like like with a guitar, it's like, tell me what key it's in, and let me listen to what you want.
Mm-hmm.
And listen to the part if it's like when I was in jazz banding with the bass, I was like, I could always play something better once I heard it. Yeah. I'm not a visual learner. I can't look at something and be like, well, rereading rhythms was always the hard thing for me with music. Once I heard it, I'd be like, okay, that makes sense. Hear how, the distance between notes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've always been faster at learning things by ear than by reading.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I can read music if I have to.
Yeah. But that's definitely a true give and gift, is to have the ear for reading, or for music itself.
When Alice and I started playing, she's an incredible singer, my wife, and she'd get like, we'd be learning songs, like, I want to learn this song, so it's like, okay, I'd listen to it, and I'm kind of figuring out the chords as I'm playing. I'm like, okay, let's play it, and I'd pretty much have it down right away. And she's like, I don't know how you do that. I'm like, it's just the chord. You listen to it once I've been playing guitar and bass for 21 years, I think now, or 22 years. And it's like, just after doing it long enough, you just hear it, you know it.
Yeah.
You know.
Once you understand the theory and
Yeah.
keys and all that, definitely comes into play.
It does. And my theory knowledge is okay. Like, I know the scales I have to know. I don't get into the crazy like modes of scales, Lydian, and all that crazy shit.
Yeah,
it's like, I know my majors, I know my minors, and my pentatonics, and I mostly do rock music, and that's pretty much what you need, to play guitar, play bass. And I know we ran into that a lot. Matt will even admit, with Audio Box, that he has very little theory background. Now, as a drummer, he didn't have to learn theory as far as scales and stuff go. He learned theory as a drummer, which is a totally different animal.
Yeah, and that would be very difficult. I've watched guys do that, read while they're playing. It's like, that is absolutely insane.
But, he'd write stuff in a very unique way because he didn't have that bass theory knowledge. He just played chords of it. Sounded okay. It's like, okay. And then, he'd bring it to the band, and Maurer would add his 2 cents, and then I'd be like, well, this note just doesn't fit. Like, we should probably... Yeah. And, sometimes it worked out, sometimes... But we had a really interesting songwriting process where he'd come with a bare idea, and Maurer's also very theory, musical knowledge with that stuff, and we would just kind of, like, throw it back and forth. Let's try this, let's try that, let's try that. And it would just kind of just be like this mixing pot of ideas till we had a final song at the end. So it was never like one person writes or anything like that. We just kind of...
But that's kind of the best way to be, too.
Yeah.
If you come in with a rough idea and you kind of have a vision for it, but if you know enough to shut up and let everybody else kind of take over the point...
If 2 out of the 3 people are like, this isn't going to work, like, you got to do something different here. And it's like, okay, because it's easy to say, well, I wrote this and I like the way it sounds, but having it be theoretically right or wrong, and a lot of times you just let it go and it'll just be cool. It's theories. As important as it is to know, a lot of people write outside of those guidelines. Yeah. For example, I think I saw Kurt Cobain over there.
Out the door. The curtain over the door,
Yeah, that was you listen to a lot of their music, and if you look at it from a heavy theory standpoint, it's like, this shouldn't work, but it does.
Yep. No doubt.
So, there's that.
I think it's kind of one of those deals, too. It's a matter of whether it be a band or sound engineer, whoever you're working with, it's a matter of just coming in with the idea and swallowing your own ego and be like, this is what I have, let's go from here.
We recorded our first album with Richard up there, and it was, I think it was an eye-opener for us as a band, I think, because he is so theory smart, and he'll sit there and if something's not working, Yeah, right? But that's okay. That's okay. Like, that was one thing with our band. And it's why we did pretty well was there was no ego. There was no, we're not better than anybody. We're just writing music because we're having fun doing it. And if you get up there and you'd be playing something, it's like, that just doesn't sound right. And then you try it his way and it'd work. It'd be like, okay. Yeah. But, you know, he knew a lot of the times there were things that we wrote it this way on purpose. Yeah. And if we'd done that, you know, he'd leave it alone. You know, that's the cool thing about working with him. Both a producer and an engineer. Yeah.
And you'll find that too. At least from my experience with talking to people like yourself, so like if everybody kind of knows when to shut up and just like, okay, this is what they want or this is what he wants, let's just try it.
If you go in bullheaded, you're not going to get a good product. Yeah. That's what it is. You want it to sound as good as possible to as many different people as possible. Yeah. And you have to have people you trust. The people you work with, you got to trust enough and know that they're very knowledgeable. What they do. I mean, that was, you know, Matt and I had all been going there since we were teenagers, you know. So it was like we knew what we were walking into. It wasn't like a new place with all this new stuff. It's like we knew what we were getting into when we wrote our albums with Audio Box up there, which it worked out. Always worked out really well.
Always, yeah. You hear that, Pop?
And then we
gotta get on the couch here one of these days.
Then we got our own big head and bought all our equipment and did it ourselves.
He wouldn't mind. He's busy tonight. He's not.
I tell you what, there was a lot of it. Anytime we did record something on our own, I'd send it to Richard to kind of get that like little sense of approval. Like, and you know, that's one thing I respect the hell out of with Richard is he will tell you with 100% honesty, I like what you did here. This could have been done better. Yeah. And we had that, you know, when we did our song Summer Days, I sent that to him. He's like, overall, it's good. He's like, I would have placed mics in different places. He's like, I can hear things that aren't quite the way I do it, but that's the beauty of recording music. You can do it any different way. And I learned a lot. I mean, we learned a lot from going up there and a lot from talking to him and, you know, watching him. I mean, that's when we recorded our album, is like, anything I know on this program is from watching him do it on his program. Like that was it.
That's how you have your mentors.
Man. Yeah, absolutely.
You have to learn from the old heads. That's the best way to learn.
Absolutely.
Now you said, was Chris involved with the recording, or is he was more of the
when
sound?
When we did the drums, so we recorded the drums first, and it was in someone's basement. Bauer had his drums set up in there, and I had that thing mic'd up like you wouldn't believe. There was 12 mics on it, I think.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, it was... But you know, I'm with the mindset, when I record, I over-mic things, and if I don't need it, I can always take it away. I can't go back to that room in that situation, in that temperature, with that drum set tuned that way and re-record it once it's done. Right. So it's like, if I have too much, I can take stuff away. And there was a lot. You know, I'd end up... It's like, oh, this area mic doesn't sound right here, so I'd pull it out. You know, and there was a lot of it. So when we did that, we did the drums. Mara had the drums all mic'd up, and then Matt and I were just plugged straight into the board, so we had a reference. Yeah. And Chris was pretty much manning the controls that night, you know, recording stuff like that. But aside from that, we did it all in my bedroom pretty much at the old house. Like Matt would come up. Once we got the drums recorded the way we wanted them, I spent probably 3 or 4 months, you know, in my spare time getting the drums mixed right before we did anything else. So we're going to get everything done with the drums. I wanted to sound good before we even bring Matt up here to record guitar stuff. So then Matt came up, and when I'm not having to play, it's easy for me to do all the controls and manning everything. You know, Matt come up and recorded all the guitar parts. I mean, we went through a lot of guitar parts. You know, a lot of the songs, especially the poppier sided ones. I mean, you're talking 4 or 5 guitar parts in a chorus all panned out and spread out, and sounding like that big wall of sound you get, that old school Butch Vig style of recording that we love, speaking of Nirvana again. So, and then once we did all that, I cut all the bass lines by myself. It was one of those things, it's like, I could have you guys here pushing the buttons and stuff. I'm just going to get it done faster if I do it myself. Like, it's just like, oh, I sat there with a bass, and it's like the keyboard's right here. It's like, okay, record, start playing, you know?
You're very familiar with the system, so it was very easy.
And then it was just after that, it was all vocals and out, and we did it all in-house, and it turned out really good. That was the Lesson Learned album that we released 2018. That sounds right.
Yeah.
19. No, it was last year. It was just last year.
Was it last year? I think you're right.
Yeah, it was. It was last August-ish.
Yeah, it might have been.
It was last.
My timeline was just
Hell,
messed
I
up.
don't remember. It was only a year ago. I forget.
This will do that every damn time.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was a fun. It was a fun experience recording the entire album on our own and doing all that. It's
Definitely
without the baseline knowledge like Rupert has, where he can just fly through the shit like that. It was nice to just take our time. We did it ourselves. You know, we kind of there were a lot of we took a lot of time recording it, and I think it worked out really well for us because it's like, okay, we have time to listen to it between sessions. It's like what worked, what didn't work, take things out, put new things in, try different stuff, and it worked out well. I was really happy with the way it turned out.
Yeah. I think that does help with the pressure. You don't have a pressure of a deadline or
there's no deadlines. You're not. I want to say you're not paying for it, but that's not the case because I had to buy the equipment. There's a lot of time involved.
Yeah.
So I put countless hours into mixing, and I'd get a mix I like, send it to the guys. They'd tell me they hate it, and I'd have to do it over again. You know.
Get 2 other inputs. You get.
Oh, I remember. Like I started numbering the album mixes. I think I got up to like 28 before they were finally like, this all sounds really good. It's like, okay,
we're done.
Yeah, we're done. We're not touching it anymore.
Like you're saying, I think that's why a lot of us are just going to the singles now because nobody listens to albums all the way through anymore.
If I do, it's like the first time I hear it. And it's like, okay, I like this song, and this song.
Yes. Yeah.
There's very few albums that have that think back 70s, 80s Pink Floyd, that concurrent theme where you go from start to finish, and if you skip a song, it's almost like sacrilege. You know, like you want to. Yeah. That doesn't really happen much anymore. You don't see that in today's music, and it's because it takes no time to record one song.
Yeah.
You know, if you're recording an entire album, it all needs to be about the same volume. You got to make it all sound, cohesive with one another. Mm-hmm. Whereas when you release a single song one at a time, it's like it can sound like whatever the hell you want it to sound like.
Not be limited to this, but
right. Yeah, you don't put yourself in that net of, well, I want it all mastered the same way to sound exactly like the other songs on the track or something like that.
Yeah, finding the balance of everything in those.
Well, that was the problem with that album was because, like, stylistically, we were all over. There were some really heavy songs. There were some songs that were more like funk. There were songs that were more like pop rock. And it's like, well, you kind of don't want to mix all those the same way.
Yeah.
You know, when you get to the heavier songs, it's like more music, less vocals. When you get to the pop stuff, it's more vocals, less music. And it's like finding that happy medium throughout the whole album where it all sounds like the same band recorded it.
Right.
Was tough. That's probably what took the most work.
Yeah, is the overall level and the mastering. Yeah, that definitely does come into play with something like that.
Yeah. So I remember telling the guys when we were done with that, I was like, I'm never recording another full album again. That was just way too much.
Yeah, and it's like I said, nobody. I think it plays partially into people's attention span. Nobody wants to sit down and listen to a whole album anymore. It's just
the only time I do is if I'm on a road trip or something. It's or if I'm at work.
It's always the older albums, is it not?
Yeah. I'm going to listen to Led Zeppelin too. Or I'm going to listen to,
My road trip is like the old days of the new album, the Yellow album. The very first time, I love that as a road trip album. I don't know why. But I always revert back to that. Like anything else now, as far as a full album, I don't really go to, which is, it's sad to say. I hate even saying that as a musician myself.
No, I mean, you're going to have songs you like and songs you don't like. That's what it is. I mean, there's no one band I can say that I love every one of their songs.
Yeah.
You know, that it's... Bands go through phases just like everything does, and they change, you know. It's a huge Megadeth fan. There's a great example of a band that went from thrash metal to competing with Metallica through the Black Album and did Symphony of Destruction, or not, whatever the hell the album name was. And then did that weird pop thing that they did that was just like...
Like,
a lot of people were like, what the hell is that? And then, totally different style from that. It's like, you're not gonna get every fan throughout the life of your group, So, yeah, there's that.
Amen.
Yeah.
I think we got a pretty good interview.
That's a pretty good interview.
We're gonna get you back again.
I'd totally come back.
I know you got a hell of a lot more original songs to play.
A few.
A few, you know, you lie to me.
A few that are finished.
Yeah, by the time you get back, there'll be a couple more done. I know.
I definitely since I've been out of the band and doing things and actually like recording things on my own, which is like a totally different experience because it's like, okay, whatever I say goes now. Like I mix things my way.
Yeah.
I have no one else to tell me.
Yeah.
Which again, it's kind of dangerous. It's like, well, maybe not everybody's gonna like the way I mix, but I just don't really care. That's the point I'm at now.
I'm the same way.
So
you just hit a point in life where it's like, fuck it, let's just try it this way.
And it's you're gonna like it or you're not. And I've been doing a lot more of my own stuff, my own writing, my own playing. You know, I finally spent the money and got a decent electric guitar. You know,
Oh, you didn't have one before?
I had a 1991 Squire Strat that I bought for $20 from the rescue workers back when I was 19. Like, that was my 6-string.
That was the one?
That was the one 6-string I had for like 15 years. And finally, a few months ago, it was during quarantine stuff, I went to my wife, I was like, so I've pretty much paid off my drum set. Like, I need a good electric guitar. It's like, I've got the musician's friend card. I can pay it off over the next year, you know, whatever. And she's
Did you get any? Or...
I did. I got a Schecter C6 Elite, which I love.
Oh.
Not super expensive, you know. It was, but way better than a $20 Stratocaster that I bought at the rescue workers.
Yeah, you're not gonna beat
that I've torn apart and rebuilt and rewired 10 times in its life, probably. It used to be the parts guitar. I'd pull shit off of it to fix Matt's guitars when they'd break. Like, and I'd replace them eventually. And it's like,
should I mention that too? That you're working on guitars now?
I do work on guitars occasionally. Yes,
you might get a lot of phone calls saying, "Hey, I need a guitar fix."
If you guys have heard Matt Colgrove's Silver Telecaster, I put that thing together, and it is just one of the best guitars I've ever played. It's so fun. He bought those rail hammer pickups that has a rail pickup for the bottom 3 strings and then the dot magnets for the higher 3 strings. It just, that thing sounds so fucking good. It's like, if you've heard his guitar, I did that. I've done setups. I've done, you know, I'd like to get into the world of doing like fret leveling and stuff, crowning and stuff like that, but I haven't even touched that shit yet. That's a whole different animal.
But that's something you're going to be...
Oh, yeah, definitely. I
I
have that old Strat. It's a great thing to learn on, you know? But I've done plenty of setups with Matt's stuff, you know, fixing the action, fixing the neck, stuff like that. Yeah. Rewiring. I rewired so many guitars.
If you start getting phone calls, it's your own fault.
It's my own fault.
You mentioned it.
You know where to find me on Facebook.
Yep. Because they're going to find all the links here very soon. So, there's that. No doubt. Well, it's been fun, man. I think we're going to save it for... We're going to do another one. So
we'll do another one, absolutely. Get some more people in. Yeah. You know.
Anybody wants to be on, come on.
Let people clear their palate of this.
You didn't see the last one with me and Josh and some of the stupid shit we were saying on that. It was pretty fun.
I'll just do cover songs. I don't know what the legalities are on that.
No cover song. All originals on this couch.
That's fine.
All original paintings, which is by Jake's.
Yes, they're very good. I was just...
And I'm sorry, I'm buying this one because
that's my favorite one. I like the contrast, the black and all the colors.
No doubt. That's going to be mine. I might buy the rest if nobody else. You guys better get on the ball because next paycheck they're all mine.
Support your local artists.
If not, Eric's room's going to be full of artistry, which is getting there already. I don't mind at all. I'll take them all. But anyway, Joe, everybody, we're done for that. We're going to have a drink and call it an evening.
Yep. I gotta get home and put the kids to bed. Beat the wife, you know.
Hey, I heard nothing, saw nothing. Don't call the cops on him.
She likes it.
So there we go.
And we're done.
Yeah, we're cutting it off.